Hello, everybody. I am grooving today because I love this song. This is probably not my favorite Dance Gavin Dance songs, but it is among one of my favorites, and that's why I started with it today. Mostly so you all wouldn't have to listen to the 8-bit version of Loon again. Or Luna, not Loon. So yes, hello everyone. As the title states, I don't really have anything planned for today. I was thinking about what I could do yesterday. I thought, maybe I'll do an art stream. But I thought, no, I don't want to do that. I thought, maybe I'll stream a game. But I thought, I don't really want to stream a game. So we're just going to have a chill time talking about, well, I have a list of things. I'm going to stop this music. Actually, let me get a playlist up. Again, we're not too thought out on this Wednesday afternoon. But first of all, how's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing fine. Are you doing fine? I hope so. Otherwise, that wouldn't be so great. So let me see. I have a chill hop. We're just gonna play that, and I'm gonna have to stop this. Stop. There we go. Is this even playing? I can't hear it. I can barely hear that. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, like I said, I have a list of topics that I want to talk about. First off, this one that I want to talk about first, it's not on the list because I literally just saw this. But I was on Twitter, as I usually am, at all times. This is a bit loud. I was on Twitter, this literally 10 minutes ago. And I saw this thing called where is it? No, it's off. Called the Silhouette Challenge, which is apparently a thing on TikTok.com. Which, if you don't know what it is, it's essentially, I don't know what the song is. I didn't listen to any of them. I just watched them because, they autoplay. But I guess it's a song, and I don't know what the song is or if it's related or anything like that. But the thing is that a person, usually a girl, will be standing in a room in some clothes, dancing, and then it'll change, and then she's in silhouette, and it's usually either red or blue, and they're butt naked. Normally this kind of thing would be fine, because, it's oh, cool. This is fun thing that grown adult women can do. But this is TikTok, and I think we all know that TikTok is mainly populated by under 18s, which is why this is a little concerning to me. It's concerning to me. I've seen literally no one talking about it, because, this literally, just happened. Some of these I'm seeing are from, earlier today, this morning. This one's 6 hours ago. But, considering that TikTok is a place that straight-up kids are on, I'm not saying, ooh, nudity is bad, ban nudity on TikTok.com. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that what's gonna end up happening is that we're gonna get a bunch of literal teenagers taking their clothes off on the internet. Which, hey, not good. Predators out here. I really don't like the idea of that potentially happening. So, and it's okay, so they're in silhouette, right? How do you know that they're even naked? You can tell their boobs are out. I'm not gonna show any because I'm gonna get yeeted off of YouTube if I do, but I'm scrolling through it right now. You can clearly tell that they are at the very least topless. That's what I will say. I haven't seen any, vagine outlines or anything like that, but I don't know, man. I mean, most of these people appear to be adults, but at the same time, there's no way of knowing, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just not something that I really don't know what else to say about it. Other than that, people are absolutely living for it on Twitter, but no one's bringing up that, literal children could be taking their clothes off on TikTok. Because, hey, listen, it's TikTok, okay? Not even that long ago. I don't know when the actual thing happened, but there's, some kind of legislation about it. Or something in France. I can't remember. But this, 10-year-old girl, died doing, the blackout challenge. So, if they're gonna do something that's literally harmful to their health, taking their clothes off on camera for so many predators to see is not outside of the realm of possibility. Come on. let's see, I don't know what's going on in that corner of TikTok in the D&D section and just get cool dice videos. Well, good for you. I'm glad you have clean TikTok. I'm not even on TikTok, and I'm seeing these. It's mostly on Twitter, though, because the hashtag has been trending, the hashtag silhouette challenge. But some of these aren't on TikTok. Like, some of these are just, like, videos. But a lot of them have, like, the TikTok watermark on it, which means, it's originating on TikTok. So that's just a concern that I have. That's fairly recent. Like, I don't know. There's been so much unsavory stuff going on TikTok. And I'm sure that could be said of, like, any social media platform, but TikTok in specific, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Because, I guess a little bit more recently, we had, like, the Bus It challenge where, they're standing up and they're, like, in a robe or something, and then they squat down and start twerking, and they're, like, in nice clothes and makeup and hair. And that's fine. That's a cute challenge. But this one, they're literally naked in the dark. Like, it's supposed to be dark. They're supposed to be in silhouette, but you can still kind of see them. It's sus, man. It's sus. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of the silhouette challenge. Also, it's not a challenge. I don't know why we're calling everything a challenge now. Like, stuff like the cinnamon challenge, which is also really stupid. That one at least had some challenge elements to it. Because, like, it's actually difficult to swallow a spoonful of cinnamon. I've never tried it, but, I would imagine. But, anyways. Oh, lordy. That's more recent. I actually had other things to talk about. Like the video I uploaded yesterday. I was gonna expand more on some things, but I don't know, the whole silhouette challenge thing kind of took me out of it. First and foremostly, if you haven't seen my video yesterday, you should watch it. But yeah, basically, gonna say the same thing that I said in that video. I've seen too many sex trafficking and human trafficking hoaxes on the internet. And for whatever reason, they're, like, all originating from Facebook. I saw one screenshot in, like, Snopes that was from Snapchat, but, a lot of them are originating on Facebook, and they're usually just, like, fake stories, like, oh, I was out at Walmart with my 18 children, and this strange person came up to me speaking in a different language, and I thought they were going to kidnap me and my children. And it's like, okay, fair warning, I never saw anything specifically like that, but that's the energy that they have, just either stuff that straight up didn't happen or stuff that was, like, a misunderstanding because a foreign brown person walked up to you. Like, that's the caliber of some of these hoaxes. It's frustrating. And like I said in the video, my mom did send me quite a few. Not only my mom, but my aunt sent me and, like, all of my female cousins. One of them, I think it was the zip tie on the side mirror one that she sent me, or a different one, I don't know, I can't remember, it's been a while. But yeah, I get where they're coming from in sending me these things. Like, I was a little upset that my mom kept sending me them because I would keep telling her that they're fake. Like, I get where they're coming from in trying to send me these things because, they're just looking out for me in college, university. It's fine, like, I get the sentiment, but it's just, like, annoying. I don't even know what else to say. Another thing on the list, I've been watching Bridgerton lately. I forgot what episode I stopped on. I think maybe episode 4. Actually, I'm gonna check because I want to be correct. Also, there might be some Bridgerton spoilers, so heads up for that. Let me just go to my Netflix. But it's the one after they get married, and let's see, what episode am I on? No, it was episode 5. That's the one where they get married. So far, I like the series. There's not that many episodes. Hold on, let me see. Because I'm on episode 6, right? Let's see, there's an episode called, why is my monitor off? Oh my god. Hello? My monitor, like, my main monitor is turned off for no reason. I don't know why. It did this before. Anyways, there's this podcast called You're Wrong About, and they actually talk about how older people on Facebook get fed tons of false information. Someone else in the comments, there's something in my eye, someone else in the comments brought up a different podcast about how a lot of these hoaxes get spread around, and this is definitely a problem. Like, I'm gonna say it needs to be addressed, but I don't even know what could be solved by addressing it, because people if they want to lie, they're gonna lie about whatever, right? Like, there's no real way to stop people lying on the internet. So it's just a whole lot, you know. And honestly, now that I think about it, I don't know what's really, it's like not really affecting anybody, because I mean the only thing that's happening is that you're getting Marthas and Margarets and Peggy's and etc. out there scared for their daughters in college. And I mean, I guess fear and paranoia, instilling like false fears and paranoias in people is a bad thing. And I don't want to say they're fully inconsequential, because they're not fully inconsequential, but it to me, it's more just annoying than anything, especially when I see it in the wild. I saw it one morning on my Twitter timeline. I was just minding my own business, looking at all of the nice art that had been posted in the time that I had been asleep, and then I come across it, and it's like, I didn't even have to really pay attention to it to know that it was fake, because I don't think I've seen like a single real like instance of human or sex trafficking like on social media. Like, okay, obviously there's a bunch of like missing persons things that get posted on my timeline, and obviously those are real, but I'm talking about like warning signs for potential human traffickers. Like, none of those that I've seen have been real. So it's like, what's the point? And a lot of the times too, I don't think people are lying about that kind of stuff on purpose. I do think the TikTok that I saw specifically with the 1F in the snow, that was fake, that was made up, that was false. But you know, I think I saw one time where a person saw a van that had like doorknobs on the outside, or a padlock or something on the van itself, say, or post it and be like, ooh, what does this mean? And someone said like, oh, that the human traffickers, they're using vans to snatch people up, and they're putting doorknobs and padlocks on them, which I was even going through like Snopes. Apparently the whole windowless white van thing is kind of a lie too. I didn't read the article, but it was like the article itself, but it was, you know, kind of more dubious that white vans are even used to like snatch people up. Like, I'm not going to speak too much on that one, because I really don't know about the whole white van thing, but I did see it on Snopes, and it did say that it was like, it might have been false or something like that. But you know the types of, you know, white vans, most of them have windows, some of them are windowless, but you know, that's like the snatcher van that a lot of people see. Anyways, back on topic. We're going to be bouncing around between things, it's fine. Like I said, I've been watching Bridgerton. I stopped on episode 5. So, okay, here's the thing. I saw something, and I don't know if it, like, upset me specifically, but it did make me feel a type of way. So I was, you know, scrolling on my YouTube timeline, oh my god, YouTube doesn't have a timeline, my YouTube homepage, as I am known to do, and I came across a video by somebody, I'm not going to say who it is, I don't even know who it is, because I can't remember, saying that, oh, Bridgerton is performative inclusivity and a bunch of other really bad things, and I'm like, dude, I don't know why you're expecting anything profound or big to come out of a show like Bridgerton, because if you haven't seen it, number one, I'm fairly certain it's adapted on, yeah, it says right here, shows based on books. It's adapted from either a book or a book series, and based off of the show itself, I'm going to guess that it's a YA series. And some YA series, they can be really profound and like say a lot of things, but Bridgerton is not one of them. It is so not. It is a show where you turn your brain off and you watch the fluffy romance. Like, there's really nothing very serious to be taken out of it. And if you're trying to get big, profound messages out of a show like Bridgerton, then I'm sorry, but you're gonna be disappointed. Like, come on. Bridgerton? Like, and the thing about this is that I guess some people don't like is that, so it's not necessarily based on, it's definitely not based on true story or anything like that, but it's historical adjacent fiction, because it's set, I don't know what year it's set, but I'm going to say Regency era based off of the fashions. So it's set in Regency era, like England, and they cast Queen Charlotte as like a black person, or at the very least biracial. I don't know what the whole story is, but they cast Queen Charlotte as a black person, and there's like a lot of, black and Asian people just kind of, existing in society alongside the typical white people that you would see in a historical fiction like this, And I guess some people think it's shallow or unrealistic. Like, I really don't know. Like, going into this show, I thought, okay, I don't know how historically accurate this is, but then after a few minutes, I'm like, I don't really think it matters for this show, and you just kind of have to suspend your disbelief for it, like, a whole lot, in order to enjoy it. Because if you spend too much time thinking about details and historical things, you're not gonna like it. So, bottom line is, if you want to enjoy a show like Bridgerton, you kind of can't really pay attention to anything other than the story. And that's that on that. Like, I don't know why people are trying to get big things out of this. They want every piece of media to say something about something. And, sometimes things can just be fun instead of saying things about society. Yes, I do know we live in a society. I don't need to be reminded of it at all times in all pieces of media that I consume. I think this goes back to, have I ever talked about this? I talked about it in a video that I recorded but never made. But I took this graphic design course my freshman year of college, and I'm the type of person where I think art, not all art, but at the very least the art that I make, I just want it to be pretty and look nice and provide some kind of aesthetic value. I don't really think the art that I make needs to be deep or say something about society or anything like that. And my graphic design professor took issue with that, which I could kind of understand for the purpose of that class, because that graphic design class was more feeding into like advertising stuff rather than art. Like, it was more of a, I guess, advertising marketing type class than an art class. So like, I could understand it for that. But for really anything else, sometimes I just want to look at a picture and say, oh, that's nice, instead of looking at it and say, oh, this represents the failures of capitalism. Like, I'm just trying to be entertained. I don't care. That being said, I think this argument really only works for visual art, like paintings, drawings, things like that. Music, I really don't know, because I'm not really into like the whole musical theory type of thing. Television and film, on the other hand, it's kind of hard to say, because I think movies and stuff should have some kind of message or some kind of theme in it, but that theme doesn't always have to be like big or profound or, important. Not really important, but I'm not explaining this very well. But yeah, Bridgerton is one of those shows where it doesn't have to have big, I won't say political, because that's not what I'm talking about, but big, like, societal themes in it. It's a show where you turn your brain off and you watch the show and you see, ooh, romance. Two hot people are in love. Wow, great. Oh, look at the Regency era fashion. Gosh, that's great. Oh, there's a queen and she has a wig that's like dreadlocks. I'm blown away. It's that kind of thing. And that's all it needs to be. It's fine if it's just that. And I don't understand why people are really trying to derive meaning where there is none. It's not my favorite thing that happens. So yeah, that's it for that. We are moving on to another topic. Sims Iceberg image has dropped. There are three. You can look them up. They're out there on the internet. Two of them kind of lackluster. Not too excited about them, but one of them has some like actual substance. There's like a lot of stuff in there, and I know most of the stuff. Some of it will require some research, which will be fun, but a lot of the stuff I already know about and can kind of explain them. And this is gonna be such a fun video to do. I started working on it today, and I've realized that it's probably going to take a while to make. Number one, just writing the script and like getting all of the explanations onto paper, or I guess screen for these purposes, and then recording the video won't take long. It's gonna be a voiceover. Those usually don't take long, but editing it might. I'm gonna hit my desk a little bit. Editing it might take a while. I'm thinking this video, just going off of how long the script is now. Let me see. I'm going to have a look. This folder, and this folder, and this folder, and this document. Let's see, what word count are we looking at right now? And I've only hit like one level of the iceberg. We're at 893 words. Let's see, how many pages is this? This is two pages, which isn't all that much, I don't think. But given that this is one level out of, let's see, how many, not that one, how many levels is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 levels. Plus, I'm going to add entries from some of the other icebergs and some that haven't been included on there, on any of the icebergs that I think should be included. It's going to be long. I don't know if I want to say like 30 minutes, but maybe somewhere in the ballpark of 30 minutes. And guys, that's a long video for a voiceover. I mean, I'm not going to really be going all out for the editing, but you know, a lot of these entries do have to do stuff in The Sims 2, which I do have installed on my computer, and I do want to get like, you know, relevant B-roll for that. So, you know, getting all the B-roll and like background footage and research isn't really going to take that much, but you know, all of that might take a bit. So, you know, but I'm finally really excited about making a video. I'm not gonna lie, these past few, I don't know, weeks, not even weeks, like months, I haven't had a video topic that I've been like super excited about. I will say the first one, or no, I won't say first, we'll go most recent video that I've been like super like excited and passionate to make. Maybe the art book video. That one was fun, but other than that, I don't know. Like, gosh, is that sad to say? Like, I'm not, I don't know. I'm not, how do I put this? I'm not disliking doing YouTube. It's just that, I don't know, I've run out of good ideas, I guess. That's kind of how I feel, you know? The Valnet video I did put a lot of heart and soul into, and I'm glad that it's going how it is. I mean, the Sims 2 Machinima video, that one took me a while to make, like a month or something to make, and that was good because it kept me occupied. Like, I think at that point I had like just come home from college after the whole Rona thing, so that was something good that kept me occupied for that amount of time. But, you know, I guess, I don't know, it just feels like none of my video ideas are like popping these days. They're not like hitting, you know, except for this iceberg video, which this video is gonna hit. I'm just gonna say it right now. I love this video idea. First of all, I just love iceberg videos in general. Like, I've watched a fair few of them. Let's see, I watched, of course, the Mario 64 one. I'm not super into Mario 64, that's a little bit before my time. I've played it before, like on an N64, like a long time ago, because we had one in our family, and there's a family friend who had one. And of course, everybody had Mario 64. You got a Nintendo 64, you got Mario 64. And I also played the illegal PC port of it. Do I even still have that? I don't know. I moved computers and I don't know if I copied it over. I might have. Yeah. So I've played Mario 64 before, but I'm not like super duper into it. But it was still so interesting because it's like finding out things that I never knew about, and it's so cool. And then of course there's the Minecraft iceberg video. There might be a couple, but I think the one that I saw was by Retro Gaming Now. That's the name of the YouTuber who did it. He has like 3, I think. And I've seen 2. I've seen his original one and then a part 2 to like address other entries and like make corrections and stuff like that. And that was really fun. I like that. I like that a lot. Especially because it was such a trip down memory lane, because I remember, you know, as a kid going through like the oh my goodness, going through the Minecraft wiki and like just reading all of the articles about especially like past versions and seeing all the stuff that was there and then being reminded about all that stuff now in like present day. That was super cool. Mostly because of like the nostalgia thing. What else? There's a Lost Media wiki. I don't know why, but I tend to find a lot of Lost Media type stuff really creepy and kind of unsettling. And especially the way that some of these people are editing their iceberg images. I guess because some of these like urban legends are kind of creepy, especially like some of the creepypasta type things. So I didn't finish the Lost Media one that I ended up finding, because a lot of Lost Media centers around like, I don't know, generally cursed content like people's on-air suicides and things like that. It's a bit much, especially if I'm watching it at night, which I tend to, I mean, I watch YouTube at all hours of the day, but I watch a lot at night because I'm trying to sleep, so, you know, that wasn't fun. Also, there's a Roblox one that someone had made, did about 2 videos, 2 or 3, I don't think I saw the 3rd one. I played Roblox for like a hot second, and by a hot second, I mean I installed it and then I played it, I realized I didn't like it and then I never played it again. When I was a youngin' trying to find Minecraft alternatives because my parents wouldn't buy it for me. Apparently there's a lot of lore, well not really lore, it's more like community stuff and like urban legend type things for Roblox, which I had never known about, and I think that's so cool. I'm thirsty, hold on. So yeah, I just like iceberg videos in general, and the fact that there's a Sims one, oh, that makes me so happy. And the fact that most of the entries are Sims 2 related, that makes me even happier. Like, I think there might be 1 or 2 about 3, and then there's like a couple about 4, and maybe a few about 1, but it's mostly Sims 2. And goodness, I am a Sims 2 stan, in case you didn't know. So this is just going to be so much fun. I'm so excited to be making this video. I'm so excited to be researching it. And just every step of the way, it's going to be so much fun. I am just excited. I'm just excited. And you know what? These days, I need something to be excited about. Because those things don't come easy these days. But, okay, another thing to talk about today that I was actually talking with my mom about, because we were watching the evening news and it came on the news. It's this whole freaking GameStop stocks thing. Like, I don't really know what's going on. That's a lie. Okay. But I don't know what's going on. I mean, I don't get it at all. But I know like what's happening. So, brief rundown about it. Some like, what do you call them? Hedge fund people or Wall Street people, investors, like professional investors. Essentially what happened is that since GameStop is a failing company for a number of reasons, which I can get into later, they're betting for the stock for GameStop to go down. I think that's what's going on. And some people on Wall Street Bets, of all places, girl, don't get me started. Some people on Wall Street Bets saw this and were like, hey, what if we just ruined their entire thing and bought a bunch of GameStop stock, therefore driving the price up? And that's exactly what they did. And it worked. And all these Wall Street people, these professional investors, lost a bunch of money. Like, oh, what was it, like $12 billion? Not billion, million? A lot of money. It was 12 something. It might have been just like $12 million. But yeah, that's what happened. And now it's getting like national attention. At first I thought, you know, it's just going to be limited to, you know, the internets, because that's where all of this originated. But now that people are losing a bunch of money, it's getting attention on the real news. So, gosh, I really don't know. And now AMC might be in that same vein. I don't think so for AMC, because I don't think people are short selling AMC stock. But I don't know, it might also be Wall Street Bets just buying it just to buy it, even though theaters are dying. For better or worse. I would say for worse. I really like the theater experience. And as experience, and as someone who didn't really grow up going to theaters and only started going to theaters like recently, I don't want to lose that experience. Like, not everybody has the money to put a whole theater in their house. It's like, some people are like, oh, why would I go to the theater? I could just watch it at home. But for me, watching something at home either involves watching it on my phone, which is like, hold up, which is like this big, right? This is how big my phone is. Not very big. Or watching it on my computer, which I'm probably going to be subjected to, well, no, I'm not. I have an ad blocker. Or watching it on my computer, which isn't going to be ideal, because, I mean, this chair is fine. It's not the most comfortable of chairs, but, you know, again, not ideal. Not the best audio setup. The picture quality is probably not going to be the best, because I don't have premium subscriptions to anything. My Netflix subscription is basic. I might get HD, but, you know, I have the basicest of basic Netflix subscriptions. The Hulu subscription that comes with my Spotify account, that one is, like, the basic one that still has ads on it. Like, God, who does that? So, you know, my options for watching things at home aren't the best. And, like, you know, my TV here, it's okay. We have, like, a sound bar thing. But honestly, like, I like to do things in private. Like, I don't want anyone else to see what I'm watching. Like, I'd rather watch something in my room than in the living room. So, yeah, not everybody, okay, I understand this. A lot of people who are kind of saying death to theaters probably live in a place where theater tickets are, like, super expensive. I know when I was living in Jackson for school, Tuesdays, like every Tuesday, tickets were like $7 for a movie ticket, and it was fine. Like, that's so affordable. Like, I know in some places movie tickets are like $15 each, which is wild. Because for me, you know, as a college student, not anymore, but when I was a college, well, I mean, I'm still not gonna spend money for no reason. But, you know, back then, I wouldn't see a movie unless it was on Tuesdays, you know, $7 Tuesdays. Or if it was a matinee, which is usually cheaper, which I know is like, oh, matinee during the day, aren't you, like, doing stuff? Most of the time, no, I'm not. But, yeah, so I guess I can get why those people are saying, like, death to theaters, because it's expensive. And, like, you don't have to buy snacks at a theater. Like, come on. I was never a fan of popcorn, like theater popcorn or regular at-home popcorn. Popcorn is not my gig. I don't really like it. And if I buy a drink or like a slushie or something, I'm gonna have to pee at some point, which is why I don't do that when I go to the theaters, like buy slushies. I do sometimes, but I try not to, because I'm gonna have to get up and pee in the middle of the movie, and I'm gonna be mad about it. So, you know, usually my theater experience is Tuesdays, matinees, my solo theater experience, I'll say, Tuesdays and matinees. But, you know, sometimes I'll go with friends on a Saturday. It'll be expensive. Pre-COVID, obviously. This is what I'm talking about. But I don't want theaters to die, is what I'm trying to say. They're more expensive here, but I still like to go every once in a while for a newer movie. Yeah. Also, my goodness, the visual and sonic experiment, why do I keep saying that? The visual and sonic experience of seeing a movie in theaters will never add up. Or no. It'll never... Hold on. What did I just mess up that statement? Basically, seeing a movie in a theater is just, like, so much better than seeing it at home. Case in point, okay, I have an example. I have points here for my dissertation. Last night, 1917 came on Showtime, on TV, because my parents still have a cable subscription. 1917 came on, and I watched it, and it was like, wow, great. But then I realized, you know, I saw 1917 in theaters, when it was in theaters. Can't remember when that was. It was pre-COVID, but I don't remember when. Time is weird. And just the experience in theaters, because the thing about the score for 1917 is that a lot of the times it's like really quiet and kind of subtle, you know? and it really adds to the experience of watching it. And you know, just bigger screen, better quality. It just looks so better. Cause like the TV I have here at my house, it's not huge, but it's like it's kind of old, kind of an old TV, and the picture quality is just fine. But it's nothing like a theater screen. This thing is freaking huge, and it's not even IMAX. You know, it's just a regular theater screen, and I don't think anything can add up to that. You know, especially, I mean, 1917. It's not even. I don't know. I think it's visually stunning, but not in the way that people think Avatar was visually stunning. So it's kind of different. But, you know, I just think that seeing a movie in theaters will be 9,000 times better than seeing it at home. That's just my opinion. And that's why I don't want theaters to die. The theater experience is rad. I saw Into the Spider-Verse in theaters and made all the audio and visual effects that more interesting. Yeah, and I saw Into the Spider-Verse with friends, not in theaters, but like in the lobby of one of the residence halls on my campus, and I liked it, but I thought, man, I really wish I went to see that in the theater, you know? And there's a lot of things like, oh, for the 10th anniversary of Inception, seeing that on IMAX, oh my goodness, that was amazing. I love that so much. Like, because the first ever time that I'd seen IMAX, or no, that I'd seen Inception, was when I was like 14 years old and I pirated it, and I watched it on my laptop screen. And that was great too, you know, because it's just a great movie all around, but that will never add up to seeing it on IMAX. The only thing I didn't like is that, I don't know why, but it was like really loud. Like, it was so loud in IMAX. I don't know why. It didn't need to be that loud. Like, my ears were a little irritated afterwards. But that was really my only complaint. Huge screen. Everything is crystal clear. It's great. Like, come on. Why would you want to... Oh, and I guess another reason why people might not be too keen to go to the theaters anymore is because they have kids. Which, I don't have kids. I hope to never have kids. And, you know, taking kids to the movies is expensive. Because you gotta buy, you know, if you have multiple children, you gotta buy a ticket for you. Gotta buy a ticket for the 2 boogers that you got taken along with you. Maybe 3 if you have like 3 kids or something wild like that. And then you have to get them snacks because they're gonna ask. And then maybe you want something yourself. So, you know, all of that starts to add up to like a whole lot. And, like, okay, so my film professor, right, he has like children and a wife and a family and all of that stuff. And he was saying how he thought it was reasonable that Disney Plus put Mulan out for like, what, $30? For a limited release on Disney Plus. I mean, is Mulan even on Disney Plus anymore? But essentially, the way that they were doing it is like they were selling it for, not even selling, basically you were just renting it, $30, Disney Plus. You don't get the theater experience of the big screen, good sound, and nice chairs too. Hello, a lot of theaters have recliners and stuff like that now. You don't get that experience, but you're paying theater experience prices. And my film professor tried to rationalize that by saying, oh, you know, it's 40 or 30, however much dollars, you know, flat fee. If I took my kids to the theater, I'd be paying just as much because, you know, they got to pay for tickets and you got to pay for snacks and all that stuff. He doesn't sound like that. But me, as one person who would be going to the theater to potentially see Mulan, if I was going, it would cost $7 plus however much Fandango's service fees are to see it, and I would be getting theater experience, big screen, nice chairs, good sound. So like I really don't understand the argument at all, you know. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. Dude, it was such a banger. I would love to see theaters do reshowings of older movies with banger audio and visual effects. Yeah, what's an old movie? Oh, I saw Beetlejuice in theaters. That was nice to see like a 80s movie on a big screen. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if I really have anything to say about it other than it looked nice, I guess. I mean, I don't know. My friends kind of dragged me along to it. I wasn't really too keen on seeing Beetlejuice, but, you know, I wanted to hang out with my friends, which is why I saw it. I think that's the oldest movie I've seen in the theater. I saw saw Schindler's List, I think for like the 20th anniversary. Schindler's, and that's from 1993, before I even existed. Wow. I saw that in theaters. I'm trying to remember any other like old movies that I've seen, but I can't really think of any. But anyways, you know, AMC stock is good for AMC. That means they don't have to go under, which, I mean, there's not even, well, that's a lie. There is an AMC theater near me. I'm straight up lying. Yeah. So the thing about GameStop and the whole short selling of GameStop is that it kind of made sense what the Wall Street people were doing. I mean, it made sense. The whole gambling aspect, I don't like that. That doesn't make sense to me. But the fact that they were doing it made sense because GameStop has been going under for I don't know how long. I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning of the pandemic, they were trying to keep all of their locations open, saying they were an essential business, when I could just go on Steam. Or if I really wanted to buy a Funko Pop, I could just order one off of Amazon. But who's wanting to buy Funko Pops? I mean, okay, I know people who like collect them. Well, I don't know people personally who do it, but I know there are people who collect Funko Pops. Why? I don't know. You know what? Funko Pops are like the Beanie Babies of our time. They're gonna end up having no value at all because they're mass produced. Like, why would they hold any value? Like, are there limited edition Funko Pops? Maybe, but I still don't see those having much value. You know? Anyways, GameStop has been going downhill for a while now. Like I said, for things like, Steam, it's just, not even just Steam, but like online game buying in general, it's just so much easier to purchase games these days. Like, you don't have to get up and go somewhere. Even if you have, I was gonna say, you know, maybe handheld consoles, but the big poppin' handheld console these days is what? The Switch? And the Switch has like a digital game store. So, I mean, most platforms have a digital game store. For PC, you got Steam, Origin, even though Origin, honestly, my prediction, Origin is about to get shut down, because EA legit put all their games on Steam, so it's like, what's the point now to have Origin, other than the fact that you already have games that are on Origin. So you have Steam, Origin, which is soon about to be not with us, the Epic Games launcher, which, Fortnite, and some games are getting exclusivity there, but we're not stunting her. Good Old Games, buy old games, which is cool, and a bunch of other platforms for buying like game keys and stuff. So you have stuff like that for the PC. The PlayStation has its own game store, like digital thing, marketplace, I don't know. I would hazard a guess to say that Xbox does. Yes, they do, because I have it on my computer, like came bundled with my computer. So Xbox has one, Microsoft, the Switch has one. Are there any other consoles that I'm forgetting about? No, there isn't. So, you know, what's the point of GameStop these days? And their problem is that they kind of went the way of Blockbuster, because Blockbuster had the opportunity to be Netflix. They could have bought Netflix and been Netflix, or ruined it, we don't know. But they had the opportunity to go to streaming, and they were like, oh, that'll never last. And guess what? Everybody's got a Netflix account now. GameStop in my hometown. GameStop. Actually, there is no GameStop in my hometown anymore. Rest in peace. But the Blockbuster in my hometown has been closed for legit over a decade. More than over a decade. It's probably been like 15 years since I have seen a GameStop. Or, gosh, since I've seen a Blockbuster, right? I feel like GameStop could have had ample opportunity to be a competitor to like Steam and other platforms, but they just didn't for whatever reason. I don't even know the reasoning behind it. I haven't looked into it, but you know, online platforms and console specific platforms to purchase games digitally is what killed GameStop. Like, and okay, they do still sell consoles, but so does Walmart, so does Best Buy, so does Amazon, So does a lot of other places. So I don't even know how they could like. So you could buy it from the Sony store. If I go, this Sony should have like some kind of store. Sony store. I don't know if I can. Okay, the PlayStation store. This is for games or consumer electronics. I don't know. But essentially, what I'm saying is you can buy it directly from the company. And that'll be just fine. And so, I guess the way that Miss GameStop is trying to go now is that they're providing like collector stuff, like Funko Pops. And I guess there is still a market for like physical game purchases. Some people just really like to do that. I don't understand why, because that's just taking up space, honestly. And for what reason? Well, okay. There is an argument these days that, never truly own something like that you buy on Steam. Just like licensing it, and they can take it away from you at any moment. Which has happened, by the way. Like, they have locked people out of... Miss Valve has locked people out of Steam accounts for one reason or another. So I get that. I get that point a lot. But I think it's going to take legislation for that to change. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I guess there could still be an argument made for purchasing physical games, but not really. I mean, the average person probably, number one, doesn't even know that they don't own the games that they're purchasing digitally. And number two, they probably don't care. Because people just don't care about a lot of things. So, GameStop has resorted to selling collector's items. And that's why they're going downhill. And then there's a whole COVID response, which is just irresponsible. Because I guess whoever's running GameStop knows that, the company's going downhill. If they closed if they closed last March, they definitely would have been out of business by now. Maybe. I don't know about definitely, but maybe. Let me read some comments. To me, seeing older black and white and maybe even silent films with the original orchestral scores would be good. That would be cool. But the thing about a lot of older movies, especially silent era movies, is that a lot of them have been straight up lost. I know there's still a lot of like silent era movies that are still around. I don't know about like original film, like on original film. I don't know how that would work out at all, considering all of that is just like physically super old. So I don't know how that would work out. I mean, I guess you could show a remastered version of it just like digitally and then have the orchestra there, which would be dope. But like, actual film, I have no idea how that would work. Golden Era, on the other hand, that's sound though. I think it would be cool to see like a Golden Era movie on the big screen. That would be really cool. However, the thing about that is that a lot of these movies, these older movies, maybe I'm straight up lying. Am I lying? I was gonna say that a lot of older movies are like in 4:3 aspect ratio, but I think there are still some like widescreen movies out there. Cause what's it called? CinemaScope. What is CinemaScope? That's like ultra widescreen. That was like a novelty though. But anyways, let's see. Hello, I'm dying. I suffer a total of like 8 hours for the past 4 days, maybe 7, like collectively. My goodness. I really don't have any suggestions for you since I usually get decent sleep, which not a flex or nothing, but I sleep normally. Sorry, but I don't know. Or I really don't know what to tell you. Other than that sucks. Let's see. The oldest movie I watched was Citizen Kane. Dude, I actually like Citizen Kane. I don't know why. I think it's because of school, but I kind of have a prejudice against anything old, especially old books. Don't get me started, because I will start talking, but I just thought that, I don't know, older stuff would be more boring than contemporary stuff, which, who knows, maybe, but the thing about Citizen Kane that makes it enjoyable for me, a person in the year 2020, because I saw it last year, is that, what was I going to say? Did I lose a thought? No, the thing about Citizen Kane is that was like the blueprint for all of the techniques, like storytelling techniques, cinematography techniques, editing techniques. That was a blueprint for all the stuff that people are doing today. So like it felt contemporary because everybody's been copying it since 1941. I don't know if that's why I liked it or if it was just enjoyable in general, but I did really like Citizen Kane. Question for you: did you see Mank? Because that one, it's on Netflix. It's a David Fincher film. Not my favorite Fincher, not gonna lie. I think I didn't really like it because I was missing a lot of historical context. That wasn't really given. The way the movie's presented is that, like, it assumes the watcher knows all of this is going on. I don't know how to explain it. You need a lot of historical context, basically, to understand a lot of it. But otherwise, I thought it was just fine. The movie Mank, which is about the writing of Citizen Kane. So let's see. There are different aspect ratios, but they do have film showings of older silent films in certain vintage theaters. Yeah. Oh, you know what? About aspect ratios, I saw, oh, wow, I'm forgetting. Sailors, The Lighthouse. They weren't sailors, they were lighthouse keepers. But I saw The Lighthouse in theaters, and that's in 4:3 aspect ratio, and I thought that was interesting because I'm fairly certain it was shown on, like, a regular screen. I love The Lighthouse. Goodness. I've only really gotten into horror, like recently, and The Lighthouse is definitely one of my favorites. Love that movie so much. So glad I got to see it in theaters. Again, The Lighthouse would not be the same if I just watched it on my computer with these crappy headphones, or these other headphones that I don't feel like moving. You know, I'm just saying. Dude, I still want to watch Citizen Kane. If you want to watch Citizen Kane, it's on archive.org. I will say, about 20 minutes in, the audio starts to desync, like it gets unsynced up. I don't know why that is, like, why that happens, but it's on archive.org if you want to see it. It's, like, in the public domain, I guess. Can we talk about how school ruins things? I thought I hated reading, but it turns out I don't. Oh my goodness, dude. We are the same person. I was just forced to read boring stuff in school. Oh my goodness. You got me talking, and I'm about to rant. I took 2 literature classes my junior year of college, and let me tell you, I hated reading. Also off topic, but the Trisha Paytas drama has been very entertaining. I'm going to talk about that too, but first we're going to talk about reading. Sweet, I'm going to go watch Citizen Kane. Enjoy. Well, you can watch it after. Wait, I'm still streaming. But anyways, oh my goodness. Let me tell you about my college literature classes. It was kind of a 2-part class, and I'd also say at this point in time I was still double majoring in creative writing, so it was a required class. But don't worry, I'm not leaving the stream. Okay, good. I was just making sure. But I took these 2 literature classes in college called Development of the American Novel and Development of the British Novel, where we read books that were integral to the development of, I guess, the novel, the book. I don't know how to explain it, but basically, like, really important books throughout history that contributed some way to literature as a whole. I'm explaining it really bad. So, development of the American novel wasn't too terrible, because a lot of the books were, like, pretty short. Oh my goodness, do I still have them? I don't think I still have them. For the most part, I'm really glad he did this, but my professor chose, I don't have them anymore. My professor chose books that were in the public domain, so I didn't purchase a single book for that class, either of those classes, because they were all on, there's like a website where you can get, like, free ebooks, but they have to be in the public domain. Oh my goodness. It's not LibriVox, that's audiobooks. Why did I forget? Anyways, there's a website where you can get free ebooks if they're in the public domain, so like old books and stuff like that. Yeah, someone uploaded a full Spanish dub of Boruto to the site. Archive.org? That's interesting. I don't know if that's legal. Anyways, there's places to get free ebooks if they're in the public domain. So that's where I got all my ebooks from. Because I had a Kindle. I didn't pay for a single book. That was the only good part about it. because I know I would have been mad having to pay for it. Even renting something, that's still money out of my pocket, you know? And anyways, American Novel wasn't so terrible because the novels were short. We could read them and they would be over, like, real quick. I really wish I had, like, a list of... Oh, it might be... Hold up. It might be on my hard drive. This really isn't that important, but I do want to tell you, like, what books I read, because I feel like that makes a difference in my enjoyment and not enjoyment of these two. Let's see here. Here they are. Forgot which one is first. Okay. Not that. Maybe. Okay, so here's American Novel. The books that we had to read were The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. That one I ended up liking because it was actually an enjoyable book. Was that American? Yes, it's American. That one I ended up liking because it's an actually enjoyable book. You know, it has its comedic moments. It's very touching at points and very emotional at points. But there is a point at the end of the book where Tom Sawyer shows up and just ruins the whole thing. That's when I started to not enjoy it, and I think I didn't finish it because of that, but I like that one. I have As I Lay Dying here, but we never read it. Charlotte Temple, girl, don't get me started on some of these, just thematically. Listen, I know they were written in a different time, but they're just so, I can't relate to any of this stuff. Charlotte Temple is about a girl who went to live off with some family and then got seduced by the brother, and then her honor was ruined because of it. You know, they smooched a couple of times and they maybe banged once or twice, and then, you know, she's basically a cast out person after that. And then she gets pregnant, and then she becomes homeless, and then she gives birth and she dies. Like, it's the moral of the story is, like, you know, don't smooch boys because you might end up pregnant and dead. That's literally it. That's Charlotte Temple. And it's just so... I didn't like it. Just for that. It's antiquated. That's what I'll say. How the Other Half Lives. I think that might have been one of the latter ones. Did we read that? I can't remember. How the Other Half Lives. Let me think about it. Basically, it's about, you know, poor people living in cities, and that one's less fiction, and it's more of a social commentary, but I can't remember anything about it. My God. Maggie Girl of the Streets. That one's, again, a social commentary about poor people living in big cities and, like, tenements and stuff like that. Oh, let me think about that one. I think it follows the life of this girl called Maggie. Basically, it's kind of like Charlotte Temple. She grows up poor, and then she, like, gets seduced by a man, and then they smooch a couple of times, and because of that, she ends up homeless. And it's just waffle. Trite is what it is. The Scarlet Letter, not gonna lie, I didn't read it. It was one of the longer ones. I found a PDF of, like, a graphic novel of it, and that's what I barely read that. I skimmed through it. Because you gotta realize, right? All of these books I'm telling you, how much is here? There are 10 books here. 1, 2... The 3 of them, so let's see, 7 books in, like, one semester. They're not that long, but you have to realize I'm in other classes. This isn't my only class. I'm in other classes that are expecting things of me, and therefore I can't, like, dedicate my time to it. And that was another big thing. So let's see, there's a Scarlet Letter, which was just fine. Wieland? Dude, don't get me started on Wieland. I can't remember who wrote Wieland, but it's so bizarre. Okay, so it's about this guy. He's named Wieland. He's like a weirdo. He, like, hides in closets and watches. I can't even fully remember the plot of Wieland, but I just know it was so bizarre that I ended up. It was just weird. It's not even like I didn't like it. It was just straight up weird. Weird. Okay? Written in, like, the 1700s or something like that. I can't remember. And then there was Winesburg, Ohio, which was, like, a series of vignettes about a bunch of people living in this one town and how all of them suck. That's it. It's kind of boring. Let me read some comments. I'm in college right now. Mine is about media and music. Okay. I just looked at the title of the book with PDF next to it. Yeah. As we speak, I'm submitting annotations for my literature class. Oh, man. Okay, so that was American literature. Here's, English literature, but I only see 3 things here. Maybe the rest of them are in here. Let's see. Are they in here? No. I'm looking through, like, my old files to try to see my audiobooks. Not my audiobooks, but my ebooks. Oh, what I ended up doing for this, the English literature class is that I had to start listening to audiobooks because I could not set aside time in my day to sit and look at words for something that, number one, I wasn't interested in, and number two, I'm talking 400 pages to 600 pages. That's like Game of Thrones length, okay? I didn't even read Game of Thrones. I listened to the audiobooks for that. That's how long we're talking for English literature. And we had multiple books like that. They were all so long, and they were all so boring. Let's see. ContraPoints yesterday, Bless the World, the video. Yeah, I watched half of it. I'm subscribed to her. I watched half of it. I haven't finished it. I should. But let's see. I'm going to go back to the ones that I have downloaded. Not those. These. So one of them was Moll Flanders, which... that one... I guess I ended up liking it because it was actually interesting. But the thing about Moll Flanders, it's about this woman... Wait, did I confuse Charlotte Temple and Moll Flanders? I might have. The beginnings of the plots are sort of similar, but Moll Flanders, she's like, her mom was a criminal, and so she had to her mom was a criminal, she gave birth in a prison. It was like an actual women's prison, just like an actual prison in England. Newgate, that prison. She gave birth in that prison, so her kid, which is Moll, had to, like, be adopted out to some rich family. And so Moll ends up having, like, a bunch of husbands and a bunch of children, a few of which she ends up abandoning. And she's supposed to be seen as morally reprehensible for this, even though some of her husbands, like, actually sucked. And she, like, legit could not take care of all of these children. And later in life, as she, like, she had something like 15 kids. We actually had to add it up. This woman ended up having, like, over 10 children by, like, I don't know, 3 dudes in her life. It's crazy. It's insane. I don't know. I could see it happening, but still, that's kind of a lot. So anyways, she ends up becoming a thief, like, and is kind of good at it. And then she, like, goes to prison. It's fine. That's by Daniel Defoe. Moll Flanders is okay, if you can stomach it. The next one that I have here is The Expedition of Humphrey Clinker. That one, I feel like, would have been good if I wanted to read it at all. I can't even tell you what it's about, because I didn't end up paying attention to it. But, I will say, one of the books that we had to read was, David Copperfield. I forgot what the full... Is that the full story? David Copperfield. Yeah, that's the full... What's the... Oh, the personal history, adventures, experience, and observation of David Copperfield, the younger of Blunderstone Rookery. What's with that title? Anyways, came out 1850, so a long time ago. We read no contemporary novels for either of these classes, I should point out. Like, nothing from... I think... What the heck am I listening to? Skip. I don't like that. One of them, I think, came out, like, the 1920s. But for the most part, the books that we read were either, like, 1910s and before that. So, no. There were none. No contemporary novels that we read. Then there's David Copperfield. And the thing about that is, I'm looking here on Google, and it says that the page count for David Copperfield is 624 pages. And we were expected to read that in, like, a couple of weeks. Bearing in mind, hey, we're in college, we have other responsibilities. That just can't happen. It cannot happen. It can't happen. And I ended up having to, honestly, I just kind of biffed this one. I don't even think I finished it. I did the audiobook on LibriVox, but goodness, dude. The thing about this is, this book Like, the story itself is, like, legitimately good. Like, it's really funny in some points. And kind of, it's a good story. But the thing is, I'm a slow reader. Number one, I think that is very important to have pointed out, is that I'm a slow reader. It takes me a while to get through even a 200-page book. Because, like, I want to do other things, and I don't want to just, like, sit. Mostly for that kind of thing, I want to, like, pace myself when I read things. Because if I didn't, I would end up, number one, staying up until, like, 1 a.m. and, like, finishing an entire 300-page book, which isn't something that I want to do. So, you know, I've developed slow reader tendencies from that. But even for something like 600 pages, that's so long. So unbelievably long. And the thing is, I would have liked David Copperfield. But it's the fact that I just had, number one, I was forced to read it. And number two, I was forced to read it in like 2 weeks. Which isn't enough time for me. Especially considering I had other stuff going on at the time. Other classes. And just other things that I wanted to do other than read this book. And not only that, but when we were reading these books, we had to take notes on them. So that takes the enjoyment right out of it. Because if you're reading books, like when I read books, I kind of like to get lost in them. Like lost in like the world of it. Like I'm a really good visualizer. You know, whatever the opposite of aphantasia is, I probably have that. That's hyperbolic, but you get what I mean. I like to really immerse myself into the world and setting of a book. And if I have to look away every page or so to write down something that I think is important, I don't even know if it's important, I just think it is, then that really takes me out of it. And it makes the whole reading experience just a whole lot longer. So yeah, that's what we had to do for these 2 literature classes that I took. Honestly, before that, I was going to go through with the whole double majoring thing. I was going to do film, and I was going to do creative writing. But I'm not going to lie. I think it was really those 2 classes that pushed me to drop creative writing entirely. Which, you know, I guess is sad. I mean, not really that sad. But I still write. It's just I write screenplays instead of prose, you know? So yeah, that's my story about... That wasn't even a story, but, you know, that's my spiel about being forced to read things in college. And I've been seeing so many threads in the r/books subreddit on Reddit, about how people have fallen out of love with reading, and they realize, like a common thread with all of these people saying this is that it usually happens around either, like, end of high school or, like, college. Because they're taking these literature classes and being forced to read things that they don't want to read, like they have no interest in such a small amount of time. And, you know, that really makes you dislike reading. I straight up did not want to look at a book, like, at all, when I was in those 2 literature classes. And that was why. Because it's just, it's so much, you know. I mean, nowadays, I've been reading a little bit more. I've got a few books under my belt since I've been here in November, so that's good. But also, I think, you know, reading doesn't have to be a contest. I also see a lot of threads on r/books being like, I'm gonna read 52 books in a year, I'm gonna read 1 book a week. And it's like, dude, that's not feasible for a lot of people. Like, is that all you do, is read? Like, you don't have a job? You don't have other hobbies? You don't have responsibilities? Like, I could probably do that if I was in middle school. Or even high school, because Lord knows I wasn't doing any work there. But now that I have, like, this internship that I'm doing, and, like, a whole host of other hobbies, and just, like, I don't want to be reading at all times, like, no, nobody's doing that. Okay. Your teacher in high school had 10 kids? I'm not gonna lie, that's a lot. I don't want to shame people for having a buttload of kids, but I tend to find, and maybe it's because of the stuff that I'm exposing myself to, but I tend to find that the people who have an obscene amount of kids are usually, like, super religious, you know? I feel like the correlation between being really religious and having a lot of kids, like the Venn diagram, almost a circle, but not quite. When all else fails, write fan fiction. I mean, yeah, I used to write fan fiction. I mean, hey, we read some of it. What, my first stream? Did we read any of my... I don't think we have read any of my fan fiction. Wait a minute. No, we have. We read that, the one-shot Sims fan fiction, but we didn't read the series, and we most certainly did not read... We didn't read My Warriors fan fiction. Not the first series or the second one. I wrote Warriors fan fiction when I was in middle school. Of course I did. I was a Warriors kid. You know, I never read Harry Potter. I was never into that. My thing was Warriors. And honestly, I'm so surprised that that series is still going to this day. Like, what, the 18th anniversary was like... It wasn't the 18th. It was like the 20th. Either way, a huge milestone for that series was like a couple days ago. And they're still putting out books. That's so wild to me. But yeah, I kid, but literature and writing classes can be really frustrating and kill my creativity. I will say that about, I'll say that about literature classes, but not really for me about writing classes because, you know, as a creative writing major, I took a number of writing classes, and I always felt, you know, I guess being forced to write was a really good thing for me because I did come up, I think, with a lot of good material. So we had this thing in my school, in our creative writing program. There's this class called Colloquy. I don't know where that word originates from. Don't ask me. But essentially what you had to do is, it was a once-a-week class, and it was a 0-credit class. So you didn't, like, get credits from it. And you had to, once a week, bring in a piece of material so that you can workshop it with other people. And so, because of that, I was actually forced to write things, and ended up developing this idea that I still really like, and I still really want to work on, just like in a different way. Probably as like a movie or something. So I think that was helpful for me. And all of my writing classes for film, like that's where I got all of these scripts, because I'm not gonna lie, during my tenure as a film student, I didn't really write other than when I had to, which is kind of bad. And I've kind of carried that into now. Like I have a pretty good, you know, library of scripts here, you know, stuff I could maybe actually get made. But, sometimes I do feel a little guilty about not having written things, but again, it's not really a contest. And honestly, with film, it's really a lot different, because if you do want to get something made, if you want to get something in front of a producer, all you need is an idea. You don't even need a script. You just need an idea. And, of course, well, if they agree to, like, give you money, you gotta make a script. But, you know, it's, you know, incentivized, because money. But anyways, I will say writing classes helped me to write and to like writing, but literature classes stifled my reading and made me hate it. So, you know, your mileage may vary with these things. People make goals like that and then burn out, slow and steady win the race, yeah. Hello, Hazel. I'm sorry I didn't read your comment earlier. I'm dyslexic, so reading a real book is torture. Oh, I imagine. I mean, it's a good thing we have things like audiobooks now. Also, I wonder if, like, graphic novels help, because it's still text, but there's, like, images and stuff that, like, help you out. So, like, as a dyslexic person, do you prefer graphic novels or, like, audiobooks or anything like that? That's because they use birth control. Yeah, religious people, of course, are anti-birth control, and religious people love to smush genitals just like everybody else, so, you know, they're constantly having kids. That's a very good point. I never liked Harry Potter, or jowling, cowling, rowling. Well, you know, I had a girl legit tell me when I was in elementary school that her parents wouldn't let her read Harry Potter because it had witchcraft in it. And even me as a child, I thought that was, like, weird and strange and uncommon. But yeah, I had classmates who were into Harry Potter, but I was never into it. Which is really weird, you know, because I feel a little left out of the whole, ooh, I'm a Ravenclaw, ooh, I'm a Hufflepuff, all that kind of stuff, all that craze. I feel a little left out when it comes to that stuff, but at the same time, I don't care. I really don't care. Let's see, I'm in a technical theater class. I might stop and take something else instead. What? Is technical theater like, I don't know what to call it other than being like a stagehand? Like all of that stuff. Hello, Bigfoots. Let's see, I was saying I had a neighbor who thought that Harry Potter books were satanic. Man. I feel like, I don't know what brought this idea upon myself or whatever, but I feel like we might be going through another round of Satanic Panic. I don't know why though. I remember thinking about this and thought, oh man, here comes the Satanic Panic again. But I forgot for what reason. Because, like, people have gotten over D&D. People have gotten over metal music. People have gotten over Pokemon. People have gotten over... Have people gotten over Harry... People have mostly gotten over Harry Potter. They dislike it for other reasons now. But, gosh, I don't even know why I thought there was another Satanic Panic on the rise. I must have seen something... But I don't know. Anyways, it's like, it is the, like, costumes and, like, set design. Oh, that sounds so nice. Man, I feel like, well, there's a reason for this, but I feel like my theater department at my college was, like, way more advanced and, like, had more options than my film department, because theater and film aren't the same, but they do have the same, like, departments, like, production design, like, set dressing and all of that, and wardrobe and all of that kind of stuff. And the thing about that is that my college did not have a film program until 2016, which was, like, a year before I went to college. So, the only thing we could do was go over, like, or, like, have a well-rounded kind of film education and not be able to specialize, because in some, like, bigger film departments, I don't have any proof of this because I've literally never been in one, but it feels like once you enter a big film school, you know what you're gonna do and you're, like, put into that bubble or that corner, but for my film department, everybody was essentially forced to do everything because, number one, we only had a handful of people. You couldn't specialize. We couldn't have, like, 8 DPs, because that's essentially everybody. We had more than 8 people, but basically we all had to serve in all roles. So, like, everybody had to learn writing, if you were good at it or not. Everybody had to learn camera, if you were good at it or not, and I definitely wasn't good at it. Here's the thing. I really like camera operating. I like, the whole cinematography of it all. I just could not wrap my head around lighting. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. Like, I was really trying to understand it, but I could not get it at all. Like, 3-point lighting and, making sure things are properly exposed. I don't know why, man. I guess it just didn't come naturally to me. That's really all there is to it. We were all learning editing, all that. But the thing is, we learned production too, which I think that was really the only business type course. Honestly, no, because the type of producing that we were learning was, on-set positions, like being first AD and being script supervisor and not quite line producer, because we didn't really get into budgeting or anything like that. But, kind of more organizational stuff, not like a producer. Like, we didn't get into, the type of people who go out and find material to, like, work on, or no, to, like, produce. We didn't go into that or anything like that. Like, we didn't really get into the business side of it, is what I'm trying to say. It was more like practical stuff, instead of theory. Or no, that's not what I'm trying to say. It was more practical stuff, like skills we could actually use in the making of a film. Because, we needed to learn that kind of stuff because we were trying to make films, duh. So, yeah. Let's see. It is, but if I take statistics instead, then I'll never have to take math again. Let me tell you, when I learned I only had to take 2 math classes in college, I was so happy. Oh my goodness. I never have to see a equation ever again in my life. Oh my goodness. I hated math. I hated math growing up. Elementary school, middle school, high school, hated it. I'm just really bad at it. It's just not my gig at all, dude. I remember being in the 2nd grade and, like, still not being able to differentiate between even numbers and odd numbers. And I remember thinking that the whole concept was, like, super arbitrary because they're numbers, like, what does it matter that they're even and odd? Which, I mean, but it doesn't matter that they're even and odd, but whatever. You know, I always struggle in math, dude. There was not a single time that I was good at math. I was always riding the struggle bus for mathematics, let me tell you. In high school, the only reason that I passed my pre-calculus class is because someone had the answers to, like, the last test we'd be taking. We didn't have a final for some reason, but the last test that we took, someone had the answers to that, and they gave them to me, and I was able to cheat on the test, and I got a good grade, and I was able to pass pre-calculus so that I can, for whatever reason, go on to calculus the next year. Why was I in calculus? Why? Anyways, I didn't end up taking calculus. I ended up dropping it because I didn't need to take it because we only had to have like 4 math classes. And listen, I don't know how this happened, but in middle school and high school, I ended up in like the advanced math track. How did that happen? Literally, how did that happen? I don't know. Like, I really don't know how I ended up taking honors math classes. That was so weird. No business being in there. Zero business. But anyways, in college, the way your math stuff was determined was by your ACT score. And I had like a 15 in math, which is kind of low. Because my strat for the ACT, which I also never have to take again in my life, thank God. But my strat for the ACT was, for the math portion, was to look at the question. If I knew it, I would try to do it. If I didn't know it, I wouldn't try to do it. I would just mark something and move on. And as a result, I would always end up being done super early with that portion. And somehow manage to get a 15 by doing that, which is wild. If you don't know, that ACT goes from like 0 to 34 or 6, I forgot. And a 15 is kind of like middle-ish. So I don't know how I didn't straight up fail the ACT by doing that. But anyways, since I had a 15, I still had to take like, it wasn't remedial math, but the course itself was Math 100. And it wasn't online. Like, we actually went to a classroom. But we went to a classroom, they gave us laptops, and then we worked by ourselves. And the first time I took it, because I had to take it again, of course, but the first time I took it, it was a night class, and it was 3 hours, once a week. Such a bad idea for me. So terrible, which is why I ended up sort of kind of maybe failing it. I withdrew before grades could, like, be affected, so it wasn't that bad, but, yeah. The next time I took it, it was 50-minute classes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in the morning, which was way better for me. I ended up doing so much better. I only made a B in the class, but who cares? And so the class that I took after Math 100 was this class called Quantitative Reasoning, and the only way that I can classify that class is math, but without numbers. Like, you still had to do math-adjacent things, but there was no, like, adding, subtracting, dividing, all of that kind of thing. It was more like, well, I guess what it says, quantitative reasoning with, like, numbers. It was way easier than any math class I'd ever taken before, and I did fairly well in it. It didn't really help that my professor, oh my goodness, he was trying, but he had the most monotonous, monotone voice ever, and I had to take that class in the morning. That was at 8 a.m., right? Or was it? No, that was at 9 a.m., actually. That semester, though, I had all 8 a.m., so that was terrible. But that was a 9 a.m. class, and it just, there's some days I can remember I wanted to fall asleep, but I couldn't because I was in class. And the class sizes at the school are so small. It'd be like, I don't know, 15 and lower, where if you fell asleep, you would be noticed. So, this wasn't like big lecture hall type university thing. It was a very small school that I went to. Let's see. So I'm in an accelerated thing, so I get 3 credits for classes and only 3 math classes. I have a 3-hour night class this semester on horror literature, and I'm so excited for it. That sounds dope. Wow. Writing is fun, and sciences too. I just hate math. Biology is my favorite. I didn't take biology in college, but I took it. It's kind of weird. We had this thing called dual enrollment, where you could take college classes in high school, which sounds good on paper, but for me, just in my situation, it was a nightmare. I ended up dropping out of it, which is the subject of an upcoming video. I haven't actually shot it or anything, but it's on my list my like to-do list for videos. What was I gonna say? I took biology in that class, but it was at that point that I was taking it that I was like about to drop out because my mental health was in the dumpster. So I ended up, what ended up happening, all online classes, by the way, which freaking suck. I hate online classes so hard, which is why I absolutely hated not last semester before last, the COVID semester as I call it, like last March through like May. I hated that so much. I didn't learn anything in that second half of that semester, and that's a real shame. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the only college biology experience that I have is that online class that my mom ended up having to help me out with because I just could not finish dual enrollment. Like, it wasn't happening for a majority of reasons, which I'll get into at some point in the future whenever I make that video. I like science. I will say I do like science. I just like learning about it more than, I don't know, doing it. Like, I don't know. How can I put this? Science that involves math, I hate that, obviously. Like chemistry, I took a chemistry class in high school. Honestly, everybody in that class was on the struggle bus because one of the main things that we had to do in that chemistry class was like conversions. I actually don't know what it's called. But basically you take like a molecule or a chemical or whatever and you do something to it and then you have to figure out what that molecule or chemical or whatever is going to look like after like heat is applied to it or something else is added to it, that kind of thing. So yeah, that I made it out with a C, was on the struggle bus the entire time. I have no idea like how to do that thing that I just described. I never learned how to do it. But that being said, I do like channels like Nile Red, and there's another chemistry type channel that I kind of forgot the name of. But I love those channels. I don't understand a lot of it, but I love seeing what they can do with like science. Like converting, you know, he turned his pee into sugar. Or what was it? Was it sugar? Yeah, he turned his pee into sugar. Like, and he did that with just like science. That's so cool to me. I mean, obviously stuff like that can have practical applications, like turning one thing into another thing, which honestly, if you think about it, it's kind of like alchemy. But anyways, turning one thing into another thing, that does have practical applications. I don't know why I was going to say it didn't, but you know. Yeah, I'm still online. 2020, 2021 are going to be the years of Zoom University, man. I still haven't walked. And, hold up, I don't have my diploma. Bro, I graduated in December. I graduated December 12th, okay? I still don't have my diploma. Where is my diploma? I paid for it. It should be here by now. It should legit be here by now. I just thought of that. I don't have my diploma. Oh my goodness. Anyways, I say that, I still haven't walked at graduation. But honestly, I don't really care about having a graduation. You know, it was really important to me in high school. Because, you know, all my friends were there, and it was a milestone, and it represented me moving on from my garbage hometown to bigger and brighter things. It was more of a ceremonial and sentimental type feeling that I felt with my high school graduation. My college graduation, I don't really have those feelings, because honestly, here's the thing I felt about that. There's no, goodbye Hazel, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. What was I gonna say? There's no guarantee, let me say this. I didn't feel like there was any guarantee of something better after I graduated college. Which sounds depressing, but I'm gonna explain it like this. So, you know, I come from a small town, black hole of opportunity. If you don't leave here for college, you're going to stay here for the rest of your life and you're going to be miserable. That was my view on things when I graduated high school. You know, thankfully by the time I actually graduated high school, I had a place that I was going. Like, I'd already been accepted to a university by the time I graduated. So, you know, there was the possibility of something bigger than what I had come from, you know. Something bigger and better and more important, I guess. I was finally able to make something of myself outside of this terrible place. That's what I felt like after graduating high school. And I was so ready to be gone from there. Oh my goodness. I was so ready to be out of there. But with college, it's like, number one, just, I actually graduated early. I graduated a semester early. And the reason because of that is that I, was majoring in a fine arts major previously, and that required more credits than the regular arts major that I was doing when I finished. So I ended up having a buttload of credits by the time I dropped creative writing. So I couldn't take another semester of college. And the thing about our film program at my school is that it can be finished in like 3 years. Like actually 3 years. People don't finish in 3 years because, we still have gen ed classes to take. And that takes up about a year and a half of, like, college time. But, that major can be, like, fully done. Like, the credit requirements are very low. That's what I'm saying. So I ended up graduating early. If I hadn't have done that, if I was still creative writing, number one, if I was still creative writing, I would be doing a 5th year. I don't know how I would be able to tolerate that these days. But if I was still doing creative writing, or if I had started film when I was a freshman, then I'd be doing another semester. Because, basically everybody that I was in school with that was, like, on my level. I mean, it's not really a grade level anymore. I don't know what to call it. I'm going to call it a grade level because I don't know what else to call it. But the people who I came in as a freshman with, they're still there. This is their final semester, right? And so, what the heck was I saying? Anyways, the end of college for me, because, I'm not in grad school, I'm not going to grad school, because I can't afford it, but, the end of college for me, there were no guarantees for, something better or more important when I left college. I didn't have any job offers. I honestly didn't even really know I still don't know. I'm still on this, path. I still don't know what I want my job to be, and I'm still kind of trying to explore things, So I didn't, there was no guarantee of anything better after I graduated college, Honestly, because I'm back in my hometown, hello, I'm living at home, and, I don't want to say it felt like this, or that it feels like this, but I don't know, it almost feels like being back here, I'm back at square one, because, I have this internship, which is good, and I feel personally that it's going to lead me to bigger and better things, which is great. I sure hope so. But, there's no guarantee that I'm going to escape this place, because when I say black hole, I do mean it. Because, I don't know if this makes me feel or sound like bougie or self-important or anything like that, but it really feels like, gosh, what am I trying to say? I really don't know what I'm trying to say. I'll say this. When I was in high school, I saw a number of girls in my grade level and below get pregnant, and aside from literally just one person, one girl, essentially, their futures were kind of, I'll say ruined, because that's how I saw it. Their futures were kind of ruined by having kids in high school, because, at this point, they wouldn't be able to afford college, or, they might still be able to go to community college, which is just fine, but basically, my big goal when I was in high school was moving out of this town, which I did, which was great. I don't know, it might have been more of a lateral move, because I did move to Mississippi, and honestly, she's 50th in everything for a reason, okay? So, it might have been a lateral move, but, the area of Mississippi that I moved to, which is Jackson, just this huge metro area, there's a lot more stuff there than here, there's a lot more opportunity. There's an actual, it's very small compared to other places, especially compared to LA, in places like Atlanta, and maybe even Houston or anywhere that has any kind of film industry. But, you know, Jackson actually has a film industry, and I was able to, like, actually find work in film and television while I was in Jackson, which is great. So, you know, I had a point and I lost it, and we're gonna forget about that. What I'm saying is that now that I'm out of... I don't know what I'm trying to say. Listen, it's 8 o'clock, okay? I've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes, and my throat is dry. For me, COVID has just sapped the joy and energy out of a lot of occasions that should be exciting, since they became like half-hearted imitations of the actual thing. Yeah, I kind of feel that too. Maybe I would have liked to have a graduation. Honestly, before I was in college, I heard you had the option, when I was in high school, I heard that you had the option to, like, not have a graduation and just to get, like, your diploma and go. And I honestly kind of like that idea. But now I'm wondering, like, would I have liked to have a graduation? Maybe, I don't know. What ended up happening for us is that we had a commencement. It was an hour long. It was a YouTube video, right? Oh, I know now. I would have liked to go to my graduation because, you know, all of my friends would be there and my family would be there and it'd be just great. But considering that I went to a Christian college, it would just be an hour of praying and it'd be an hour of praying and Bible verses. Basically, it would just be chapel. I hated chapel so much. Chapel was so boring. Oh my god, you guys. Chapel was so boring. Aside from one chapel that I liked out of like 3 years of doing it, because they stopped doing it this year because of Miss COVID. But, gosh, chapel sucked so much. So much. Oh, I hated chapel. I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. But yeah. My birthday was during all this COVID stuff. That was last September. And the thing is, I was kind of looking forward to my birthday, like, early in the year, because, like, around March, like, all the people were saying, oh, all this is going to be over by September. Come September, we're still in the middle of it. So, you know, I'm not usually one who likes to do big things for my birthday or, like, have outrageous parties. Usually I just want to hang out with my friends and, like, eat food and talk and stuff. So it wasn't that big of a disappointment for my birthday, my 21st birthday. I wasn't gonna go, like, all out or anything like that, but, you know, I guess it was a little bit disappointing. Thanksgiving was okay. I mean, really with Thanksgiving, the only people that are here, I mean, some years we have family come from out of town, because the thing is, I have no family in this town, so they're just, like, you know, my nuclear family. Both my parents are from out of town, so anyone, or to, like, visit anyone, for anyone to visit us, they'd have to drive, like, several hours to get here. So a lot of the time, we wouldn't have family over for Thanksgiving. It would just be, like, all of us, like, my nuclear family. So that was the same. It was fine. Christmas, also the same, just my nuclear family. So Christmas and Thanksgiving, that was honestly fine. Honestly, it was kind of lit, you know? First Christmas and Thanksgiving with, you know, out of college. Because by Thanksgiving, we're actually done with school, which is wild to think of. I gotta go get ready for work tomorrow, but it's been great. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for joining me. Lovely having you here, as of always. God, my speech is breaking down. Anyways, so, you know, really the big holidays haven't been changed by COVID, because we would never really do anything anyway, so it's, like, not much change. But I would say, I think, you know, it affected school a lot more, because I'm the type of person where if I don't see somebody on a regular basis, our relationship is essentially over. You know, the way I form relationships with people is that I see them on a regular basis, and we talk. We get to know each other in this setting that we see each other on a regular basis, and that's how we end up being friends. Like, I don't know, man. I don't even know if that makes sense, but anyways, I will say it was really hard not having in-person classes. Even though they were on Zoom, it wasn't the same. Like, it really wasn't the same. I don't know. I feel like I said, like, however long that was ago, some minutes, I said before that the COVID semester, so what was last spring? It was last spring semester. Duh. The latter half of that semester, I didn't learn anything, and that's because, you know, with all the Zoom things, there's really no requirement to, like, pay attention. Because, like, if you're in a classroom, and especially with our class sizes, since they were so small, if you're not paying attention, the professor's gonna know. And if you don't pay attention, like, it's kind of hard to, like, excel in the class, because you have to pay attention to things, like, know about stuff. Anyways, so yeah, it felt like there was a lot less of a penalty for not, like, paying attention, which is why I didn't pay attention in class. Like, I had a 9 a.m., it was a personal finance class that we had to do on Zoom. The professor, super old, so you know things were going wrong all the time. Remember Ben Shapiro's sister pushing ads? Yes, I do. I made a whole video on it. Oh my goodness, don't tell me she's doing it again. Is she doing it again? Is Miss Abigail at it again? Girl, I hope not. She made a little money. She got her stimulus check, and she spent all of it on more ads. Oh my goodness. You like that video? She quit? What do you mean she quit? She quit YouTube? If Classical Abby quit YouTube, or she just quit doing ads, because her ad campaign only lasted, I want to say, like, a month. It wasn't even that long. It was like a month, maybe 2 months. But did she? Yeah, she probably just stopped putting out ads. I think she's definitely still making YouTube videos, because I've seen people reacting to them, like, you know, the usual suspects, like Rachel Oates and Dear Mr. Atheist has been reacting to some of her stuff. I don't think she stopped making YouTube videos. I need to find this out now. Maybe she pivoted. She's got 88,000 subscribers now. She's gonna get that silver play button real soon. She uploaded a video 6 hours ago. Not looking up. Don't want to view her BS. Yeah, she uploads 3 times a week. Oh man, her thumbnails have gotten worse somehow. I don't know why I'm one to speak. My thumbnails aren't. Well, no. I like my thumbnails. I like to think that my thumbnails are pretty good. Anyways, I feel like her thumbnails used to be better, though. Where was it? There it is. I lost it. Yeah, because, you know, in her old thumbnails, it would be her and, like, her background. Or her background, like, her room or whatever freaking room she's in. But these past couple ones, it's like, I guess she bought a green screen. Good for her. Getting that coin, raising her production value. But she's got... No, she did not. She has a cottagecore video. Everybody know cottagecore is for lesbians, not trad wives. God. Anyways, I'm out of here. I can't look at this too long. Her brother is a joke. I mean, hey, we been knew her brother was a joke. Abby was the one who was the sleeper joke, you know. She should have just stayed an opera singer. And I've seen, like, musical people on YouTube clowning on her voice, too. I haven't watched any of the videos, but I've seen, like, the thumbnails. Honestly, since that video I made on her, I have not wanted to consume any, not even, like, reaction videos to her content. I'm done with this woman. Like, the whole, I don't want to say backlash, but just the whole aftermath of me making that video, it was just a lot. And I don't know if I want to go back to that. It was just a lot. Anyway. I don't know, I was gonna say Abby is, like, less bad than her brother, but she's just as bad. She's just as bad. I mean, Ben is, like, out here pushing legit harmful stuff, and so is Abby, you know? Yeah, people will start viewing her crap. I mean, I'm sure she got what she wanted out of those advertisements, which was new viewers. So, And of course, you know, I got some of these kind of comments on my video about her. God, I can't think of anything. I got some of these comments about my video about her that, you know, oh, I'm gonna watch her just to make the libs mad. You know, that kind of thing. That kind of watchers, you know, that's kind of to be expected. So, you know. Did I have any other topics? No. My last thing was the GameStop debacle. Oh yeah, AMC. Let's just go through Twitter trending. All Elite Wrestling. What is this? Some other show. Married at First Sight. Sports Ball. GameStop again. Other television shows. The freaking Silhouette Challenge. Why is this trending under sports? I don't know, man. I talked about the Silhouette Challenge earlier in the stream. I shall talk about it no longer. Man, I feel like, I don't know, ever since they changed, like, how the trending tab works on Twitter, I just feel like the trends are just so boring these days. Like, the trends used to be popping off. There always used to be some drama going on in the trends. Now it's just, like, it's news articles in the trending tab. That's not what I want. I want terms and hashtags that people are tweeting a lot about, not news articles that nobody's talking about. You know? Apparently, oh, what's his name? Jacksepticeye. His dad passed away recently. I've never watched a single video made by him. That's still sad. You know? And the only reason I found that out is that the name Sean was trending, and I'm like, who the heck is Sean? And people are in the trend like, please, you know, leave Sean alone, let him grieve. And I'm like, who is Sean? And then I see the tweet from Jacksepticeye, and it's like, oh, it's him. People using his government name, which I always think is weird. That feels so weird, especially, you know, a lot of people who have, I'll call it a stage name because I don't know what else to call it, and then, like, their viewers, like, calling them by their real name. That feels weird to me. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. A lot of people on my timeline, especially, have been talking about, the game Hades. I haven't played it. It seems really difficult, and honestly, I don't need that stress in my life. So, yeah. I'm not gonna be playing Hades. Apparently, it's a great game. But yeah, I think I've officially ran out of things to talk about. So, yeah. Well, I guess we can go over some of my video ideas. So, as you may or may not know, I made the Sims 2 Machinima video, the whole making of, and then the Machinima itself. And I said I'd make one for the Sims 4. And I keep saying I plan on doing it. I actually started on the script for the video itself and the Machinima. Haven't finished it, obviously. Other things are getting in my way. I have one about Sims hot takes. A lot of Sims related stuff. Listen, I know I'm not a Sims channel, but listen, I like the Sims, okay? I'm gonna talk about it. Anyways, was film school worth it? That's still on the list. Town of Salem versus Among Us, and why Town of Salem is better. I think the Among Us craze has kind of died down a little bit. So, who knows? That ship might have sailed. College versus high school. I feel like this one, that's kind of a timeless video. Well, I mean, not now, since going to college during COVID has been an entirely different experience. So, it's probably going to be from, like, a pre-COVID perspective. Why did I go to a Christian school? That one's still on the docket. I actually dropped out of college. That one's still on the docket. Discussing Sims 2 fan theories. Actually, I'm going to take this one off, because I'm doing the iceberg now. That's essentially that video. Listening to every r/metalcore track. God, I can't read. Listening to every r/metalcore posted track to find some new music. I don't know if that'll be an interesting video, especially considering I can't play any of the music, because I'm going to get copyright claimed real quick. So no thanks. Screen Rant. I made a video about Valnet, and I included some things about Screen Rant, but now I kind of want to make a video about Screen Rant specifically and how they have zero journalistic integrity for a number of reasons. One of those reasons being that they aren't hiring real journalists to write for them. And by that, listen, I don't want to dog out independent, well, let me see. I don't want to dog out freelance writers. That's not what I'm aiming to do. It's just that essentially what Valnet, or I suppose more specifically Screen Rant, is doing is they're hiring literally everyone. Anyone who says they want to write, they're hiring them. Paying them pennies, by the way. And with publications like these, they're like, what, film and television news? They should probably hire people who know things about film and television. But it looks like they aren't. From an outsider's point of view, and honestly, as someone who used to work for a Valnet-owned property, that's probably what they're doing, you know? The man who made 12 movies during the pandemic, I started writing the script for that. I got stuck on it. I should probably just, rewrite it, reassess my approach. I still think that'll make a really, really fascinating video, considering I have kind of a personal connection to it. I do want to make a video about PewDiePie, kind of similar to my video about Joe Rogan. So yeah, that one I'm still planning. That one's gonna require some, effort, though. And since I'm, working on 8,000 things at once, that one's probably not gonna come for a while. And then a Sims Iceberg. That's all. Them's all my video ideas that I have planned on my little sticky note. Well, it's not an actual sticky note. It's the Notes app on Windows 10. Or the Sticky Notes app on Windows 10. That's what I use to keep track of things. So, that's what I got planned for the future. We already know this Iceberg video is about to come up. Oh, it's gonna be a banger. It's gonna be such a banger. Oh my goodness. It's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be a banger. You guys are gonna like it. If you don't like it, it doesn't matter because I'm going to love it. So, you know. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. I am just so excited about that. So excited about that. Just great. Just great all around. Have I really been dropping frames? That's so lame. I wonder when that was. I wasn't paying attention. Oopsie. Anywho, how? I think... Why am I moving that? God. I hate that you can't drag the Streamlabs OBS window down to minimize it. Or to minimize it so I can move it over to my other monitor. God. Anywho, that's gonna be it for me for tonight. Next week, I'm gonna have an actual idea for a stream to do instead of just talking about random topics for almost 2 hours. So, fear not about that. We're gonna be doing some actual things next week. Thank you, everybody who joined me today, talking, chatting, having a laugh, having a riot, having a rant or two about various topics. I think it's fun to do these kind of things, every once in a while, just having kind of a unstructured type of stream, just chat about various things that are going on. I honestly love that. So, that's gonna be it for me though. It's not that late, I'm not tired at all, but I need to go back to researching the Sims Iceberg video, dude. I wanna start this now, now. Anyway, I'm out of here. Goodbye. Have a nice evening, or morning, or midday, or noon, wherever you may be watching this.